In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Top 10 Show. This is one I am very much looking forward to. We had talked about this for a few weeks before the end of the year, and I know some fans have been clamoring for it on Twitter and on our social medias and like reaching out to us and being like, when are you guys going to do this? When are you guys going to do this? And Matt needed a little more time, and I did too, you know.
Yeah, I don't get the advanced screenings.
Right.
And so it was a nonstop. SAG is still sending me stuff for screeners on top of all the other stuff that I saw. I've seen all that, but today I got one for TV shows.
Oh, nice.
So I got a huge box of Netflix shows. I got all of Glow, all of Stranger Things 2,
wow,
all of The Crown, all of Orange is the New Black, and all of something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just came in this little cool packaging. It's just like I've seen what I've wanted to see of these. Basically meaning I didn't see Orange is the New Black.
Right.
And now I just have a stack of DVDs. You want seasons whatever?
No, I mean, if that's on Netflix already, I can access it whenever I want. So, yeah.
I've got all that stuff.
I would love it if it was a Netflix thing. You open it, it says, turn on your Netflix. It just says that as a message.
There's some that do
that. Instead of a bunch
that.
of DVDs.
HBO just gives you a code.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah,
there you go. See?
And you just log on to their website
that
and
makes
use your code.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Super simple. I can't believe Netflix did that unless they think it'll curry more votes.
Maybe.
Ultimately.
You're the wave of the future, Matt, because it's really funny. I was doing this whole stat. By the way, I'm John Roca.
I'm Matt Nost.
Welcome to the Top 10 Show. But I was doing some research on this idea of digital media versus physical media. And I noticed, obviously, over the last year and a half, how physical media is disappearing from the shelves. Blu-rays are being mixed in with DVDs where there used to be separate whole sections.
Okay.
And now we see it, and they're saying, like, this is what's happening. That physical media has maybe a year or two of shelf life left.
Doesn't make sense
before it disappears.
I mean, I understand the individuals like yourself that like to have the tangible aspect.
Yeah, but we're a dying breed, dude. We're a dying breed.
Don't worry. What they'll do for you is like special edition packaging. You get X, Y, and Z with it, and you're like, awesome. Game worn jersey. You're like, oh, yay, fantastic. And the rest of it's going to be all digital.
Yeah, but I think there is going to come a time where you can like watch all the special features that would normally be on a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like where you click on a Netflix and it's not just play, rate, and whatever. It's play, watch special features, watch commentary, watch with this, watch. So you'll have all the options available to you digitally or streaming-wise. I can't imagine that's not the future, right? Because you want to have access to all this information.
Yeah, and it's just ones and zeros.
Yeah, right.
And I think the only thing hindering it would be net neutrality going forward.
Oh, Jesus.
As to whether or not, because then you'd have to get people to pay in at a higher rate to have access, to have that kind of stream capability or bandwidth capability.
Right.
So, who knows? I don't know, because now there's a bunch of different companies are banding together to create kind of in essence class action against the FCC, but it's Netflix. Good. It's a few of those huge ones be like, no, you can't do this. And I think there's enough votes on the floor within it's either the Senate or the House, but I think it's the Senate.
Yeah.
To enough people that it will push it forward to where now the Senate has to have a discussion and a vote on this as potentially.
Good. Okay. Good.
I think so. I think it's one of those things of very few people want this, and if any of these elected officials want to make it back into office, this is an easy one because you're only screwing over a couple corporations.
Yeah.
And you're appeasing your entire district.
Well, and this is a good point. It's interesting. I was reading an article today that talked about how many of these congressmen are retiring rather than running for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. Like it's a larger number than ever. And it may be related to a certain somebody in the White House, or it may not be. They're still like working out these numbers and
who knows,
statistics and reasons, right?
Yeah.
But it's an incredibly large number because these changes that have been happening over the last year have been very swift and extreme. And net neutrality is another one of those things that, like you said, not a lot of people want, but there's a certain contingent that wants it that's in power, so therefore they're shoving it down the throat of everyone else.
That entire contingency. I just don't think they anticipated any kind of backlash ultimately. And they're like, we'll get away with it. It's fine. We'll just push it through, and then it'll make those guys happy, and they'll contribute it to us more.
Right.
And now they're saying, like, well, those contributions aren't worth me losing my seat, my office, my whatever the case is.
Political cost.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the collateral damage of it. It's just like, well, you know what? Thank you for your $50,000 or whatever it is, a year ago, but this is today.
Yeah.
And today I don't need your money anymore.
Yeah. I'll send it back in small bills.
Yeah, welcome to a politician's life.
Exactly.
Or it could just force them into a point where they have to back it, and then they're voted out of office. But, if it goes into law, then now it's a different animal to tackle at that point.
Yeah.
Welcome to American Politics to our international listeners. I'm sure if you're online, you obviously found us that way. You know what we're talking about when we talk net neutrality. But considering, according to our Facebook group, the number one city in the world that listens to us is London.
Oh.
They don't have... That's in our Facebook group. I don't know if that translates into numbers in the downloads or listens.
Over fish and chips, you think? Or some strawberries and cream?
Whatever the case is. I have no idea.
Do they serve... I suppose they serve haggis in London.
Yeah, potentially, but it's an Irish dish, is it not?
It is. Or is it Scottish? Is haggis Scottish? I feel like haggis is Scottish.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Either way, we've got it covered, Irish or Scottish, either way.
Yeah, either way. And they're like, we're totally different, and they are.
Of course they are.
But I unfortunately, we can't assign regional dishes specifically. I
feel like it's Scottish.
Okay. Well, I'm on the Irish side.
I feel like Irish has the stew. Irish has the stew.
Well, just because it has Irish stew in the name.
Well, true. Good point. Yeah.
That's really easy. What are the Scotch? Welsh rarebit? Is that?
That's Welsh.
Exactly. But maybe in Northern Irish make it the best. I don't know.
That's certainly possible. London's an interesting place, though, man. When I was living there, I'm sure this is all changed now. Because when I was there for 3 or 4 months in '98, I couldn't get peanut butter, regular peanut butter. Iced tea didn't exist.
What does that mean, regular peanut butter?
You couldn't get Jif or Skippy.
Oh, you couldn't. Yeah. Well, what's your custom? The brands you didn't know.
Right, and the way the peanut butter was made was different.
They probably didn't use the hydrogenated oil.
Yes, all that stuff was. So the first time I got it, and I was like, "What the crap is this?" So I never bought it again.
Something that's not actively extra killing you.
Well, yes, that's true. I like my chemicals.
Well, when you're raised on them, they're delicious. I love peanut butter. Now I can't eat that stuff.
Polysorbate 80 is tasty. Red dye number 5. But yeah, and then just certain things that you get, pizza. I remember getting Pizza Hut. They have Pizza Hut. They had Pizza Huts there.
Of course.
And I would go, and they had buffets. And you would get Supreme Pizza, and the Supreme Pizza has corn in it, which I was like, what the fuck is this? So it was an interesting experience, transitioning my taste buds from American food to British food.
Well, British food isn't known for being good.
Right. Well, they say
them
that,
compared to the other European countries that are around them that are known for, especially the French right there.
Right. That's true. The French and the Italians, incredible food. But I don't think the British food was bad. I enjoyed my food while I was there. Once I made the transition and I knew what to pick off menus that I liked, then I enjoyed myself and I could figure out what I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I push back against that stereotype about British food. The British food is good. Certain things they make really, really well.
Yeah, I have
Even
not been to the United Kingdom anywhere. So.
Oh, really?
I've been to Spain and Italy, and that's
Holy
it.
Shit. Dude, the pubs are amazing, Matt. The pubs are worth it. Even the smallest little pub is has such great atmosphere, man. And the old wood and just the whole design of it all. You just feel so comfortable in a pub. So much more than going to an American bar, in my opinion. The pubs are more receptive and warm and feel more friendly than an American bar does for the most part.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of them been in institutions in their neighborhoods for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Since whatever, the last great fire, and then they had to rebuild.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't, I wanted to. I've almost gone a couple different times, but just something came up or I went somewhere else.
Right.
But nothing against it. I eventually want to go.
Yeah.
England and the United Kingdom have a ton of history that I love, so there's already numerous places to go outside of hey, you got to go to Piccadilly, and you got to go to this.
Yeah.
There's other aspects, Hadrian's Wall. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see little interesting aspects of their individual culture and the Cliffs of Dover and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just haven't been.
Yeah, okay.
Just haven't been.
All right. Well.
I'm glad. I'm content with my month in Italy. It's my last big trip.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and I would imagine that a lot of people in England would probably agree with me. You know what? If I had a choice, I would spend a month in Italy as well. It's pretty fantastic.
Rather than this rainy place. Yeah.
I would move to Italy if I could on some level.
Wow.
Oh, I would. I would live there.
It's funny because I would move to London in a heartbeat. I like the rain. And I like that it's overcast all the time. I loved, when I was there, I loved it every morning. Overcast, yes. Like, I love overcast days. So for me, it's enjoyable. Like, we've had a couple of rain days here in LA. Really enjoyed them.
Not surprising from a guy that considers Stand By Me a child's movie.
Are we still going on about that?
That's fair.
Listen.
That is fair.
I like the darkness. What can I tell you?
Exactly. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Is that how you start your morning?
Every morning I put it right. Simon and Garfunkel right on. I was like, depress me, motherfuckers.
Living here in Southern California, the days that it's gloomy, I love.
Yeah. It's a
when
nice
you walk
change of
outside,
pace.
it is. As dumb as it is to say, when you live here, like my sister's now lived in San Diego with her family for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And before she moved here, I said that to her offhandedly, and it didn't make sense because she's lived in the Midwest. She lived in Chicago.
Right.
And she was like, oh, God. And I remember living in the Midwest. It's overcast for 4 or 5 months straight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's gloomy and gray for months on end.
Yeah.
You come here and you're like, yeah, that only happens once every 60 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you enjoy, it breaks up the monotony of sunshine, as dumb as that is to say.
Yeah, and the only negative is that people turn into absolute morons when they drive in the rain in LA.
Oh,
that's
worst.
That's the only negative, man.
It is.
People cut across 3 lanes in the middle of the highway in the rain. People stop suddenly for no reason. People don't signal. People spin out. Like, it's nuts to drive in the rain in LA. It really is.
Plus, none of the roads are really designed to funnel water off of it. So you'll hydroplane on the interstate.
Yeah, man.
I've done it on the 101, the 5, the 210. Not just like if I didn't see that puddle from far enough away and like I veered too far one direction and went through it.
Yeah.
I would be hydroplaning for who knows how many feet that is.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Oof. I've done that twice. It's the worst experience in the world.
Yeah.
Total both times, my car.
Totaled it?
Yep. The first time I slammed into the side of I literally spun around and slammed into the side of a hill, and it snapped the axle in half, the front axle. The second time I was in Fairfax, I spun out on the 123 coming out of George Mason University. I was there visiting a friend, and I spun out in the rain in a puddle, and my Toyota Celica, which is the first car I ever owned, literally spun out of the 2-lane street there and right onto the embankment and tore my axle up that way as well. So it was like I was literally up a hill.
You had the same accident in essence twice?
Well, yes and no, in that the hill that I hit in with the other car was like this, like, I don't know, 50-foot hill that I hit on the side of a residential.
So you hit a
area.
wall.
I hit a wall in essence. Whereas in the other one, I hit like a 7-foot hill, an embankment. Yeah. So it ended up screwing my whole thing. It was freaky both times, man. There's nothing scary. You're so out of control. You're so out of control.
Yeah, I've never driven. I've been, when I was a little kid, that happened to my mom when I was riding in the car, me and my brother and sister.
Shit.
And we did like a 720 or something on this hill.
Yes.
And then she regained and pulled in to this parking lot. And she was freaking out, but I loved it as a kid. I was like 6, and we just all of a sudden we're spinning, and then she parks, and we're fine. And we're like, that was fun. And she is on the, like, can't process. There's too many, like, synapses firing and stuff like that in her head. And she's on the verge of crying and screaming and being perfectly fine because everybody's fine and just... But not to me. I've had 2 where hit my brakes, started hydroplaning. There's a car in front of me both times.
Yeah.
And it happened when I was 16. I pulled my foot off the brake and I cranked the wheel, and I managed to pull into a turn lane, and my back bumper hit his side, but he had these little rubber side bumpers, and it hit that, and he was like, no, those things seem to do their job, so no harm, no foul. And I was like, awesome. Yeah. And then another one, I almost did the same thing. Was going downhill, and a car was going to make a right, and I was talking to my friend.
Oh, shit.
And I looked up, and I was like, and I hit the brakes, started just sliding, took off, cranked into the next lane.
Yeah.
But I clipped, like, his back, like the back last chunk of his bumper, and hit him, and then he spun, and he clipped the front of the next car that was waiting to make a left coming out. And the cops are like, I don't even know how you almost got away with that. And I'm like, it almost doesn't count though. Like I had to get a new bumper, and I think that was it. And then the other car, I think the third car, my insurance fought. The second, the first one, the one I hit, they paid.
Okay.
And it was like a new bumper, and they didn't need much.
Right.
And then the other one, they were like, they didn't buy a store. I don't even know what happened to it after that point.
All right.
But yeah, people suck here in the rain.
Yes.
And the roads don't help.
Yeah, they don't. You're right. All right, well, there we go. That's our car story. Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah, that's
Car
the sweet
talk.
show. People were asking for that online. They're like, hey, look, can you talk about the rain and driving?
Your car accidents in the rain.
Sure.
Anyway, so today's topic is the top 10 movies of 2017. Like I said earlier, people have been clamoring for us to talk about it, Matt. They've been sending tweets at us. They've been sending us Facebook messages or posting on Facebook in the group. And so we're going to count down our top 10 movies of 2017. And I think we've seen just about everything.
There's only
separately. I think there's only one I haven't seen.
What haven't you
but
seen?
Other than that, Call Me by Your Name. I haven't seen that
I saw
yet.
that.
Okay, great. I have not seen it. It's the only one that's missing. But we had to do this list, and I didn't have enough time, and I've been like not feeling so well. So I usually can't watch movies when I'm not feeling well. So I didn't get a chance to catch that one. So there it is. But if I highly doubt it would break my current top 10. I really highly doubt it. But we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the post.
Oh, okay.
And I got a screener of Mudbound, but I think that's the only screener that I didn't get a chance to see.
I haven't seen Mudbound either, so I'll put that on the list too. Those are the two that I haven't seen.
That one I was like, all right, we'll get to that. I literally I've seen so many movies in the past month.
Oh yeah.
It's been close to a movie a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I think
a good
I've
thing.
seen 20 or 25 movies in the past month.
Okay.
Like everything, because once I got all the screeners,
You just slammed it all in.
well, yeah, it's just a movie a night. I'm
Yeah.
watching a movie a night. That's all I'm doing. Before I go to bed, I'm making time, and I just watched a movie a night. So almost everything that's going to be up for any kind of award, I've seen it.
Well, great.
Or even like this actor is up, but the movie hasn't. I've seen it.
Okay.
So this year is it's fucking. You know, sometimes we talk about, and I know we talked about it personally, where you have that struggle within yourself of, here's what the general consensus is, but here's like my opinion.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the two things deviate. And with a best of year, I want to be true to myself, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, but I understand this one time allowing myself to lean into qualitatively, this is a better movie.
Right.
So my list is juggling that.
Okay.
It's like, fuck. Well, okay, if I'm going to be honest with myself, this makes my list, but it's very specific, and I understand anybody that wants to harangue me for it.
Yeah.
There's one in particular I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But others, it's just like, yeah, your argument is entirely valid. There's a lot of choices this year.
Yeah, there's actually surprisingly ended up being a really good year for movies. And
Well, The weird thing is how many vied for your number one spot?
none. Only one.
Only one?
It's been ever since I saw the film, it's been that one the whole year. Nothing has come close to it, in my opinion.
Okay.
As incredible and amazing as some of these other films have been, nothing's come close to it. There's something about that, my number one film, that spoke to me from beginning to end of where I'm at in my life and what the person goes through in the movie that I just connected to, gravitated to, and endured and saw multiple times. And it hits all kinds of levels for me. And I think artistically, it's my favorite film of the year as well.
Okay. It was just back and forth, and eventually I was like, I think that's my number one.
Yeah.
And it's weird because usually I'm like you, just like, this is clearly.
Yeah.
And I even have like 2 and 3 and stuff like that. And this year was like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I saw so many in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. And for me, it's not a film I don't necessarily have to go back and see a film 5 or 6 times for it to qualify on my 10. Sometimes that's just a film I just want to enjoy over and over and over again. It doesn't mean it's going to make my top 10.
Okay.
That's the thing at the end of the day for me. Like, I've seen Greatest Showman 3 times already. It's nowhere near my top 10 films of the year, but it's a film I enjoy seeing over and over again. So that's the thing. That's the difference. Sometimes I can see a film once and I know immediately that's in my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Matt, you want to tell me how the show works?
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into that,
Yeah, sure.
This is going to be spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
I know.
Yeah.
But just as a warning before, because the show officially starts right now, so we're going to start talking about movies and ones that if you indicate you haven't seen, just let me know, and I will try and just skim through if you think you're going to see it. Otherwise, we are going to be talking about these movies.
Yeah. In depth.
And I want to put I've gone back and forth in my head of putting timestamps in the description, but the problem is that it tells you where on the list it is, and I think that tips too much of a hand.
Okay.
So maybe we could put in the description, we'll put all the movies that we're going to talk about. We could do that, but I don't want to put timestamps because then it tells you.
I agree.
Without listening to the show.
Yep.
So I can put that in the description. It'll be alphabetically listed, all the movies we talk about.
Perfect.
And then beyond that, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. If you don't want to listen, totally understand. Thank you for the download. Thank you for the click on YouTube. You made it thus far. You understand inherently that is going to be the show.
Right. You get it.
So once John and I set a topic, we go our individual ways and create personal top 10 lists. We show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we combine the shows between the two of us.
Boom.
Weird list.
Okay.
All over the place.
Okay. I don't know why you're selling your list out when I know there's so many incredible movies that came out this year that being all over the place is a positive, not a negative, man.
It is, but I feel bad of probably should have that on my list.
Oh.
Probably. Well, no. About specific ones.
Okay.
Ones that we can give in honorable mentions later on.
Okay. Yeah.
Just I know I will probably end up seeing that movie more than a bunch of these others.
Right.
But the impact they had was more immediate for me right now.
Right.
So this is just a snapshot of me in beginning of 2018. Anyway, number 10 is the movie that you said you haven't seen, which is Call Me by Your Name.
Okay. You can feel free to talk about it as you wish. Feel free. I don't have a problem. I'm going to see it. Nothing you say is going to make me feel terrible about hearing about it ahead of time.
You already know what the movie is.
Right. It's the homosexual love story and does what happens. Like Armie Hammer plays, he's a teacher assistant or something like that?
He comes into, so they're somewhere in nondescript northern Italy, and he comes in, and this family goes to Italy twice a year for the summer and then over Christmas, even though they're Jewish. But that's when you get the holiday break, so they go at Christmas. In 1983 is when the story picks up.
Okay.
And the only reason it comes in at 10 for me, I wanted to get higher, is so the relationship is between him, who you're assuming is somewhere, he's a grad student in essence or something like that. He's what, 23, 24, I don't know, some indeterminate early to mid 20s range.
Right.
And the other half of that is 17.
Yeah.
So the chemistry that they have is raw. You can, it feels very real. That's why it still made my list. But the problem is at points I was really uncomfortable watching it because it was that's a 17-year-old. And actually, this actor I looked up his age, he's 22 going on 23 this year. Yeah. He looks 15. Yeah. 14. Just in his musculature, because it's in the summer, so they're walking around with their shirts open, and he's a teenager kind of thing. And it's man, that's a fucking kid. So there's part of, but at the same time, their emotion between the two of them is real.
Wow.
It's visceral. You can feel it, and the tension they have when that tension, finally releases, and they let themselves down and allow themselves to be with one another. It's very tender and sincere. It feels genuine, like this is an actual story that's being told as opposed to fictional characters. Yeah. It seems more like it's based on a true story type of thing. Yeah. But I don't even know if you could do it based on a true story, that raw kind of thing. But see it. It's pretty impactful. Maybe the sex scenes between them won't have that type of effect on you. And I imagine it did on most people because the reception, nobody else has really brought it up. But just watching it, he looks so young that at times it's oh man, this is... It unsettles you. A little bit because... Okay. Would it be different if it was an older woman? Yes, because then I can visualize myself in that, perhaps. Yeah, sure. Okay. So it just could be because I'm a straight guy and I don't see it through the prism of a young, bi-curious kind of individual. Yeah. So perhaps that's the difference. I think that's fair. Well, yeah, there could be gay guys who be like, yeah, I view it through the way you do. If it'd be weirder to me if it was an older woman because I identify more with, this type of story. Yeah, yeah. So for that, I get it. It just at times it's man, that is a young kid. He's not so much older, but at the same time, when you're in your early 20s, it is vastly different from 17, especially 17 that looks 15. Definitely. Number 9 for me is I, Tonya. That's a punt. That is a punt? Oh, yeah. I think that eventually goes up higher on my list because I will rewatch that again. Oh, yeah. So my number 8 then is Dunkirk. That is not on my list. I didn't think it would be. Yeah, man. After the summer. Man, I went again. I went again by myself.
just as bored the first time or second time as I was the first time.
See, I have since seen it again.
Yeah.
And I think I just appreciate the effort.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that went into it, the detail.
Oh, the technical achievement is amazing on that.
Yeah, I think I get enraptured by that. I understand what you mean where it's a plotting, like story might even be too strong because there are through lines, but at the same time, it's not like you're following one central character.
Right.
It's various parts of this overall story being told. And there are aspects of it, like when Tom Hardy is just endlessly gliding at the end. It's just like, I don't know if you guys know how physics works. Because gravity and the friction of the air eventually is going to slow him down, and he's going to land much sooner. And why land on the beach behind enemy lines? Why wouldn't you kind of try and scuttle your ship,
right,
or your plane next to the ships? I don't know. But at that point,
you have a lot of questions. Is what you're saying?
I do, but it doesn't take away from my appreciation of something in my head that I thought was part of World War I, and I don't know why. I thought. When I associated Dunkirk, in my head it was next to Gallipoli, which is World War
really? Oh, interesting.
Even though Gallipoli happens in a different section of the world.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, the Battle of Gallipoli happened, and then Dunkirk wasn't too far after that, and then I just had it mixed up in my head. Mm-hmm. But then to see it, because I've read the stories and I know what it is, and I don't know why I screwed the two up, but to see like it's actually just a civilian fleet that was sent out there and brought the bulk of this home, and then had they not escaped, basically Great Britain would have been out of the war.
Yep.
This destroys their entire military force, their army at least.
Yeah.
Their army of Marines, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. It's 300,000. Is it 300 or 400,000 people are on that beach? I think it's 400 and they get 300 out.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas they assumed they were going to get maybe 10% when they started out and being like, the best we can hope for is getting 10% out. And at that point, 40,000 is not going to hold off. You're shoring up for a siege and stopping Hitler then from invading England. That's what that force is doing next.
It's really interesting. This whole Dunkirk thing was like in 3 or 4 separate movies.
What, that, Darkest Hour, and what else?
Darkest Hour, and then Their Finest, which was this small little British film that came out over the summer. And it was all about them like telling the true story about the Dunkirk in the papers, how it was kind of manipulated, some of the stories
to obscure,
to make them seem like they're more heroic than they actually were, right? And she writes this. Gemma Arterton plays the character, and she has to write
the redhead.
She has to write these stories. And then she investigates these stories, and she first wants to write what actually happened and break the myths, and then she eventually realizes that if she writes these stories, because they're going to make films off these stories, if she writes the stories the way she wants to, it could damage the psyche of Britain having survived the bombings, having survived like their ability to fight back, and all this happens there through her confronting the Dunkirk stuff. So it's just it's interesting how sometimes in films like The Universe of a Year, and you'll see the same kind of subjects popping up in multiple films, and you wonder what's that all about. You know?
Yeah, what is it? In the air? Yeah. Like when Deep Impact and Armageddon come out.
Sure.
Just like, really? 2 asteroids? Or like Dante's Peak and Volcano?
Right.
You're like, 2 volcano movies?
Yeah.
Back to back in like a couple months? Like, what are the chances of that? Or like
the 2 Truman Capote movies?
Yeah, or the Prefontaine and Without Limits.
Without Limits, right.
Like every once and again, this happens where just like, for whatever reason, maybe a book came out before and one is off the book and one is inspired by the book.
Right.
I don't know, but it just kind of hits.
Even Churchill, like Darkest Hour, then there was that one with Albert Finney.
But there's Gathering Storm, and then something else Storm that was with Gleason.
Yes, Brendan Gleeson, that's right. And then we had John Lithgow do him on The Crown.
Yeah.
So, it's just
he's a compelling figure.
Yes, he is, in so many ways.
And I think Ullman just crushed it.
Oh, my God, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
There's no way he doesn't win that Oscar.
Yeah, he is the best part of that movie.
Yep. That's why... And I will spoil that. It is not on my list.
It's mine either.
It's because...
It made the side list.
Yeah, so definitely. It's an enjoyable film, but it's so overpowered by him, Matt, that it's like... You don't even know what happens.
And it drags in the middle a little bit.
Yep. Because you're repeating patterns.
Yeah, you are. And I think it reinforces the battle that he had to, and the way that their government works, especially at that time. The prime minister works at the behest of the royalty,
the queen,
and those guys dropping like flies. And they have to form a coalition government, and then they have to get it's pretty impressive. But Oldman steals it. But so seeing Dunkirk that come to life, and just like the technicality of it, and the artistry, and the cinematography, and everything, the amount of care and love that was put into it, I appreciate it on that level.
Yeah.
And so for that, it makes it a great movie and something I will revisit. I just don't know how much in comparison to other movies on my list.
Yeah.
But I like history, so it hits me. And that's why that's one of the ones that's just like, man, it hits me in one of my sweet spots.
Yeah, and I knew it would be on your list, because you've talked about how much you enjoyed it the first time you watched this, so I'm not surprised that it made it on. Yeah. What's your number 7 or 8 rather?
That's me. That's
that's right.
10, yeah.
Because your 9 was a punt. That's right. So then my number 10 is Lady Bird. Is that on your list at all?
It came close.
Okay.
It came close.
This was a tough one because I felt like I had to include this movie, and there are 2 or 3 other films that were fighting for inclusion at 10. But I felt like I had to include this movie because I really was surprised at how much I enjoyed this thing. And I know it's getting a lot of love and people are like nominating it for stuff. But I walked in as a man of my age to walk into a film that is very focused on a teenage girl trying to figure out what she's going to do with her life. It's also kind of semi-biographical, autobiographical, based on Greta Gerwig's actual life. She directed the film. I think the film, you could call this film a simple story, a kid breaking out, but there's more going on here beneath the surface in this relationship with her mom, with Laurie Metcalf, with her dad, with Tracy Letts, the stuff about being poor, the stuff about trying to fit in with the rich kids when you're poor. It's also very like a window into what this young culture is like, this millennial or post-millennial culture that's down there using cell phones, talking about how wanting to unplug, this whole idea of like trying to find your voice. Who are you? Who are your real friends? Who are not your real friends? So there's so much about it. And then pursuing your dreams and then wanting to break out and then having to fight against your own mother to pursue your dreams, to break out because of her desire to have you close to her. How much of that is your responsibility? How much do you have to take responsibility for?
And her mom wants her to not fail.
Right.
She's not against her succeeding.
Right.
She just doesn't want her to fail. So anything that looks like too much of a gamble, it's always scale it back. You're not, I'll believe that when I see it type of stuff.
Yep. And that's what I enjoyed. The characters are three-dimensional, Matt. Really interesting because Laurie Metcalf is a certain way with her daughter, but she's a completely different way when she's doing her job as a nurse, right?
Yeah.
There's more of a relaxed kind of thing. Tracy Letts, same thing. He's dealing with the loss of his job. How is he going to survive? How is he going to provide?
How are they going to pay for this? How are they going to,
Right, all this kind of stuff. But then he has these incredibly very sweet moments with Lady Bird when they have those conversations like when she has the birthday and the cupcake. All that really sweet. And then he has to deal with the fact that his own son is vying for a job against him. Damn, man. There's so much that happens in this film that if you look at it as a very surface, easy, simple film, you are missing the point of the movie.
Yeah. It was a string of what my wife lovingly refers to, what was the point movies.
Uh-huh.
And there was a few of them. Like, I ended up going through the screeners, and I tell her what I watched without her. I was like, watch that. Like, I told her, watch I, Tonya. You'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like, Florida Project, don't. Because that is what's the point to her?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, the point is to tell an encapsulated story of just a fraction of this person's life.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be point A to death.
Right.
Sometimes it's just this little chunk of time, and that's all it is, and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I was surprised by how heartfelt it got me because by the time I saw it, it was already, this is Rotten Tomatoes' greatest film of all time. And you're like, okay. And then I talked to some people who had seen it before I did, but they'd already heard that hype, and they're like, it's good, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
And so thankfully I had gotten over, and I'd gotten to the cynical wave again.
Oh, good.
So I saw it with just like it could be good, it could be bad. I don't think it's going to be bad. It could be good or it could be great. Mm-hmm. And I think it was somewhere in between, like skewing towards, I think if I was a woman, it would resonate a little bit more with me.
Sure.
So it'd probably end up on my list somewhere and then perhaps even higher.
Well, I think that's why I had to put on, because as a man, I was touched by it, and I was really surprised. So I gave a lot of credit, because I am not, and I will say this, and in no way do I mean this offensively, I am not a Greta Gerwig fan at all. I think she's a boring actress, and I've tried to watch her in numerous films, and she does nothing for me. Nothing against her. Obviously, a lot of people enjoy her and think she's good. She's been in a number of great independent films.
Yeah.
But it's just not my jam. It's just not my jam. But so I was
To each
surprised.
their own. You can't.
Exactly.
You're never going to get 100% of the people.
Exactly. And I was surprised that this film touched me because, like I said, I'm not her biggest fan. So, all right, that was my number 10. So my number 9 is All the Money in the World.
Didn't see it.
Oh, you haven't seen that one yet?
That's one of on my side is just like I've got a list of I didn't get a chance to see, but for some reason I didn't include that in the I really should have.
Brother, it's fucking good.
Okay.
I will tell you, Ridley Scott is hit or miss, man. But when he hits, he hits.
Oh, yeah.
And in this one, he hit it, man. Christopher Plummer is fantastic, replacing Kevin Spacey. Really great work from Michelle Williams, which is surprising accent and affectation that she does for this character. Initially, you're a little like, oh, and then you get really into what she's doing and her character and her style and how she's trying to navigate this situation and what ends up happening for her as a result of the navigation. Wahlberg is Wahlberg. He's he's the least best part of the movie, and he's doing his Wahlberg things. Hey, how you doing? What's this? Blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. But really, you watch
that $1.5 million.
Yeah, he did. Oh, that son of a bitch. But you watch the movie for the Christopher Plummer stuff because he's really a frustrating, infuriating guy. And J. Paul Getty, and then the relationship between the kidnapper and his J. Paul Getty's grandson is really what sells the movie. And, of course, Michelle Williams as well. But that relationship that develops through the whole movie as they're moving around, as he's being transferred from kidnapping group to kidnapping group, you get more involved in their relationship and their story and what's happening to that kid. And you get so tied into it. And then the drama happening outside of all that, which is J. Paul getting his money and how he doesn't want to negotiate, doesn't want to pay anything.
A known individual just because of his obscene wealth.
Yes, exactly. And you get a window into how cheap he is about everything and how he's willing to spend on pieces of art rather than spend money to save his son or his grandson from being the subject or the tortured by kidnappers. But yet he incredibly loves his grandson, which makes it all the more infuriating. So the film has a lot of directions that it goes in, and it never loses your attention. And I was really surprised. I was thoroughly surprised because after Covenant, I really thought Ridley might have lost it. Maybe he's not there anymore. And he really knocked this one out of the park. So that's what I was saying, without ruining too much about the movie.
I wonder if they'll ever release the Spacey.
I hope not.
You never know. Could be a completely different take. And
yeah, well, he's already in the original trailers. You can see him in the original trailers.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. So, all right. So then my number 8 is one that I had to include because I absolutely love this movie. And I was very much surprised. And I want to champion this movie, which is why I'm including it where it is. The Big Sick.
That's called a punt.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
called a punt.
Yes, sir.
I like that you're talking about that like nobody knows that movie.
It's not being considered for anything.
It should be.
Yeah, I agree.
My number 7. So this is where I was hemming and hawing earlier going, if it's going to be my list, my favorites of 17, It.
Ooh.
I've already seen it numerous times.
Nice choice, Matt.
I'm going to keep seeing it.
I respect that.
I will see it every year now. It is just enough of the book for me to believe that this character could be real. And this thing, it captivates my attention. Like, if I was being honest, this is probably a top 5 movie for me.
Wow.
But the others is like, okay, well, now we're talking about artistic merit and what is, quote unquote, the best of 17. Mm-hmm. So this is where my personal opinion is bleeding into this list. You can't stack this movie up against.
It's our lists, man.
Yeah. Like, just pound for pound merit based. Like, does it have the emotional resonance? Does it tell the most amazing story? Right. Whatnot? But for me, this has been something that has been captivating in my imagination, in my mind, for the bulk of my adult life.
Wow.
And to see a decent TV movie.
Yeah.
Especially for a TV movie, the chances they were allowed to take.
That gets too much love, in my opinion. That TV movie is pretty cheesy in a lot of moments.
It is. But for ABC in the early 90s, they still got away with some interesting, horror things without having to show tons of gore and blood and guts.
True.
Just the psychological terror that
it's really
something
Tim
like this
Curry that sells it,
Yeah, it is. It is, because some of the rest around it is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, man, because I didn't think you could ever top Tim Curry. And this version of a vaudevillian or whatever the case is, clown, is so genuinely believable. And I love the fact that one thing that the only part of the Tim Curry that I never bought is when he was almost defeated. There was defeat never registered on that character in the TV show, the TV movie. Whereas in this, when he has Bill by the throat, and he is basically bargaining with him, if you just give me him, I'll let the rest of you live.
Yeah.
And he knows, because he has managed to wipe the memories of this town, you'll all go off to do other things and you'll never see me again. And this all ends right now. So, and just as he's bargaining, and when they don't, and when he just utters fear and drops off into, but there was fear within them and him in the town. Like, and I love the fact that they made changes to the book, which is usually sacrilege, but like the people floating up above.
It's amazing.
What a great, it reminded me of Beetlejuice when he turns himself. He goes to the thing. He's got the rotating. What do they call that?
Whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's a parasol, but it's also at the same time a mobile the kids have that they can toy at, like little things hanging above them, and just the idea of like all the choices they made.
It was an incredible visual of that. Those bodies hanging there. Yeah,
and the terror, like all the flaws that people point out, I cannot deny.
I
don't see them as flaws.
Yeah, neither do I, man. Neither do I. And you know what, Matt? I think if I was more of a horror guy, this would have gotten in my top 10 because
see, I'm not.
I saw it once and I could not go back again because
I've already seen it.
Shit out of me. Man.
I've already seen it, and certain parts.
Yeah.
Are so scary to me that I can't not like. Once I own it, I want to watch that 2-minute scene. I want to watch where was it Henry, the thug kid, whatever is beating up on the black kid, and the black kid just looks over, and for whatever reason, Pennywise is right there with what looks like just a severed doll's arm. But he just waves it at him in this maniacal. And you're like, just that, boom.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's scary.
Yep.
Because he thinks he's living terror, and terror is actually just off his left, or off his right, I think it is, 20 yards away. And you're like,
real terror,
oh my God. Just that over and over and over again. Or when later on, when the thug goes bananas again and he kills his dad, with the fact that Pennywise is on that TV, and just he's egging on, and he's taking over that reality. And just all the little things where I didn't think the terror and menace of that book could actually be brought to life. Blown away.
Great
Love
choice,
it.
brother. Great choice.
I will keep watching that over and over and over. 6 might be a punt.
Okay.
Shape of Water.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a punt.
Okay.
All right, so then my number 7 is 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh my God, that is called a punt and a half. that is called you offend.
Sir, I mean no offense. Sir. So then my number 6 is a punt from your earlier I, Tonya.
Oh, for I, Tonya?
Yes. Dude, that film.
Super enjoyable.
Fucking loved that film. And it's really hard to keep it out of my top 5. And it may be, in the long run, it may creep into my top 5 because it is eminently watchable. It is a story that I am like obsessed with because I've seen every documentary that's ever been made on the story. I've read just about every article or book they've ever written about the story because it's just fascinating to me. But this is a whole new take that I never saw coming.
I've never seen it from her perspective.
Yep. Yes.
And it doesn't seem to pull punches.
Nope.
I mean, ultimately, at the end, if this is the more accurate, she didn't really know about what transpired.
Right. But she should have said when she overheard some stuff, she should have been more forthcoming. But that's easy for us to say in our comfortable fucking lives, not having been subjected to physical abuse by both our mother and our husband.
And your entire life is, I wake up early, I go work out. Yeah. It's devoted to this.
Yeah, there's no social construct, learning how to do this kind of stuff. No.
Yeah, she works a side little job, and if she doesn't have to, she would literally be training all day, every day, because when she gets the verdict later on and she is barred from figure skating ever again, and she says her age, which is like 23 or something, and you're like, she's like, this is my whole life. And you're like, wow, that is true. This is all you've been doing your entire life.
And to see how so many people benefited from this drama, and she's the one that didn't. Like, all these other people came out and did these ice shows. Nancy Kerrigan became the America's Princess. Yeah. They all did this stuff.
Was it CBS, they said, was covering it? Yeah. They get the extra ratings.
Right.
Of course she was going to make the team.
Right.
Because that is going to drive viewership, and the Olympics wants that just as much as the television network does.
Yeah.
Because then that also means they can demand more from advertisers, and they get to make more money.
Exactly.
So everybody else is profiting and benefiting from this.
Everybody made out but her.
And I don't remember his dipshit friend. Was it Sean?
Sean Eckhart. Oh, Sean's great.
I don't remember him being that much of a dipshit.
Yeah, you got to watch those real interviews with him, man.
Yeah.
He is a dipshit. And that actor almost steals the movie.
He does steal on a lot of ways.
Right?
In a lot of ways, man. He is so good.
That scene in the kitchen, when you realize the bullshit he's been telling you, he actually believes.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy shit, this is a whole nother level.
I'm thinking like 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And he sends 2 wet brains.
Yeah.
To fucking take this out, and the guy walks in, which one is Kerrigan? And then an attack happens on Kerrigan not 5 minutes later, as if it don't look somebody in the eyes and they can't ID you. That's how that works.
And then they shatter a glass door as if if they're not going to catch you for doing that.
Drops to the weapon he used, so his fingerprints are all over that. Just over and over and over again. It was such a fascinating movie.
And then it found moments of levity amidst all this uncomfortable shit. Like, when they're asking him about Tonya Harding, I don't know any Tony Harding. And they're just like, no, all of that. But then you juxtapose that with what's happening in these horrible beatings that she's taking from Galooly. And fuck Galooly for all his interviews saying, oh, none of that ever happened. Bullshit. He totally beat her. And you can, that kind of stuff, you're just seeing it all happening. And you're just like, man, this is unsettling shit. Like when she gets slammed into the wall and she looks to the camera and breaks the 4th wall, it was uncomfortable and also brilliant filmmaking and brilliant acting by Margot Robbie. So it's just an incredible film.
But given what Allison Janney brought her up in, this is how she understands love.
Yeah. Yes.
Love is abuse.
Right.
Otherwise, if they didn't care about me, they wouldn't do these terrible things to me.
Right, because they do all these other nice things as well.
Yeah.
And gunplay's involved, for God's sakes.
And she gets in the car with him.
Yeah. And she gets in the car with him.
Afterwards, he's like, okay, fine, let's go. Like, I can't believe you did this. I'm fed up with it. But at the same time, I've resigned myself to understanding that's how the world works.
Brother, I have talked to, working at Universal Studios, I heard from so many other people about their boyfriend-girlfriend situations. And it's insane, the shit that they stay in relationships, guys driving off and leaving them in parks by themselves at night because they got into a fight with them. Leaving a girl alone in a park by herself. It's mad. And then they come back. These women come back to these guys. And so you wonder to yourself, like, what is it? And dudes, too. Dudes go back to these women and treat them badly or
I've
disrespect
seen,
them
guys that
or
get
cheat
abused.
On them. Yeah.
Like just verbally in front of all his friends and stuff just to make him feel even smaller.
Emasculated there. Yeah.
I've seen that before.
It goes both ways. And so to me, I'm always fascinated by the guy that keeps coming back and keeps taking it, or the woman that keeps coming back and keeps taking it. And it's like, it's this pattern. Because the guys never all of a sudden become these weak-ass guys. Even in their apologies, they're like strong, weak-ass apology, or strong apologies. And so and they kind of almost twist it to make it seem like it's the other person's fault.
Well, it's
in a way.
symbiotic.
Yeah.
Then the person that's exhibiting the abuse, if they don't see that it's registered pain on the other, then they don't feel like they're accomplishing something on some level.
Right.
They're not getting anything out of this exchange. But then the rebuke that comes afterwards is something like, okay, that's the punishment that I have to take for
this. Yeah, it's a madness,
and
man.
Just to see it, and it was just crazy. Such a good movie.
And such a fantastic powerhouse performance by Margot Robbie.
By everybody.
Yeah, Allison
Sebastian Stan and Allison Janney, and then the guy that plays Sean, and like, I love her frustration. Like, what do I have to do to get a fair shake? And it's kind of true. And when they're like, especially with figure skating, we're promoting a certain kind of wholesomeness. We're like, figure skating, unfortunately, because it is utterly at times arbitrary as to what they're scoring on.
Yeah.
Like, you get certain points for pulling off tricks, but then after that, it's somewhat a popularity contest.
Yeah, and you watch those videos of Nancy. She was a spoiled little bitch. Like, you see those videos when she's complaining about Oksana Bayul taking too long to get ready to come out to get her medal. You see her complaining at Disneyland. So don't give me this crap that she's some victim here, right? She got beat absolutely. Who knows how much Tonya knew? Fair. But she came back. She got second place, but she was pissed off she got second place. She was pissed off she had to ride in that thing and wear the medal, in that parade and wear the medal. So she's not innocent. And she finally came out and made a statement about the movie today, actually, and said that she'd never seen the movie and said that she's not going to, and that she's exhausted about talking about it. I wish people would just move on. And it's like the whole reason you're famous is because of this.
Yeah, shut up. You got the good end of this deal.
Yeah, no one's going crazy over Michelle Kwan or all these other fantastic
find me another figure skater that hosted SNL.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
Exactly. Second place figure skater that hosted SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Johnny Weir came out on Twitter a couple days ago and was like, "Oh, I stand with Nancy. It's no excuse to just being born on the wrong side of the tracks." That's not what this movie is. That you're reductive by saying that. There's so much more here, So I just get mad when people push back on it.
Although I wonder that one scene where she was like, Nancy and I were friends.
Yeah.
was like, this seems like rose-colored glasses.
Maybe
this happened one time.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't really. I don't see much. I have never heard of a pattern of that.
Yeah. All right. So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Blade Runner 2049.
That's a punt, my friend.
That is a punt.
All right. Oh, is it my turn now?
That is your turn.
My number 5 is Coco.
Did make my list.
Whoa, really? Dude, I love that movie, man.
I love portions of it.
Oh, interesting.
I found the songs fantastic.
Yes.
Like really good. I loved certain aspects of Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Like the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge is incredible.
Just beautiful to behold. I just didn't. The connection with the characters didn't cement as fully broad spectrum.
Okay.
For all involved.
Okay.
I liked certain ones here and there, and then other interactions. It just left me wanting.
Interesting.
I liked it, but I wanted to love it. I wanted to walk out and be like, another Pixar? Boom, where's this on my list? When I saw all the other people saying that. And I walked out going, it was good. Wow. I wanted more.
Did you see it with that 20-minute fucking Olaf thing?
No, it was great.
Good. Okay.
Walked in, I told my wife about it as the lights were going out. Like, oh, yeah, there's supposed to be a 20-minute Frozen. She's like, fuck. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not happy either. Because Pixar always puts something on the front.
Yeah.
And it just started right. We saw it at ArcLight. I don't know if that makes any kind of difference.
No, they
started right up.
A lot of people were complaining about the 20-minute thing.
It's 20
so
minutes.
They took it off.
Yeah.
Because they saw it was affecting their bottom line because people were not coming back to see it over and over again because they didn't want to sit through that 20-minute thing. Or people were showing up 30 minutes late to the theater because they didn't want to watch that Olaf thing because it got terrible reviews. People were annoyed by it because it's a 21-minute thing is not a short anymore for an animated film.
It's a TV sitcom.
Exactly. So, and I thought Disney really fucked up by doing that. I'm mad at them for doing that because I think they did that thinking that the Mexican story wasn't going to sell, so they put an Olaf short to get people in the theater to make them watch it. And fuck them for doing that if they did that.
I also think it's because don't they have Frozen 2 coming? So they want to keep Frozen alive in people's imaginations.
Well, do a 10-minute one. Do an 8-minute one. You don't have to do a 21-minute short. That was ridiculous. And I'm glad they took it down, but not enough to affect the box office because it's still behind Inside Out and behind what was the other Pixar one that just came out that was really good?
Good Dinosaur?
No, there was another one after
Inside Out?
Yeah, after Inside Out, but before Coco.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, I don't remember offhand.
Yeah, we're supposed to be a show that knows the list. And we did Pixar not that long ago.
That's true.
It's like, I'll look it up real quick.
But anyway, I really love the film, Matt, and I think because I am Latino, it hits a lot of buttons for me. Maybe like how Dunkirk hits for you, the history stuff. For me, everything that I saw in that film, I have experienced or could relate to or understand or connect to with the relationships of the family members, with this idea of being permitted to do, being forbidden to do something you want to do because they want you to follow in the footsteps of the family. There's all of that in there. And so to see all of that was incredible. And the voiceover acting was really fun. And the world was vibrant. It was beautiful. It was enjoyable. There was so much going on there that I thoroughly enjoyed. And the songs, you're right, were great. And the story was interesting, too, because it's a dark story.
Yeah, you think it's going one way, it goes another. Cars 3 is the only thing I could find.
Yeah, Cars 3, that's the one.
Okay, I was expecting like something akin to Inside Out, something that was...
No, but Cars 3 did nice.
Oh, no, I'm not taking it. Yeah, it does well at the box office. It's just it's not made for me.
Right.
And I thought you meant another one made for us and kids.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. But so everything about the movie is just, it's, and for me personally, it's just like, it's amazing to know that a film like this exists. Finally, that the culture is treated in a way that was respectful. There was no cheap Mexican jokes at all.
No.
There was none of that stuff that could have been done in the wrong hands. It was very much done above board, and the affection and the anger is very real. And you see the all the stuff with the chanclas with the mom chasing him down, all the stuff with the matron in the land of the dead, all of that going on. Or she's in control, and then the twist that happens with that guy, and then what that message leaves with the kid is so great.
In the end, I think the payoff there was excellent when they get to that final and just the understanding of how much family should mean to you.
Yeah.
It is executed beautifully.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the payoffs, it still works as an overall movie. It's just at points it was like, I don't care as much about this, or I wish it went this way, or just my own, whatever.
All right, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a punt from earlier, The Big Sick.
Okay.
Because I went back and looked at like a best of over the summer, and I think that's my favorite best from the summer.
Wow. Yeah.
It's
so good, Matt.
It is.
Right?
Just for a straightforward story, but the amount of humor and heart, and they can just keep going back and forth between the two that it resonates so well.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Yeah, it was on $6 or $7 at Thanksgiving for Black Friday. I bought it immediately on Blu-ray. Like, I had to have it.
Should have held off. I could have given you my screener copy.
Oh, there you go.
I got it digitally and...
Well, but I liked buying. I wanted to contribute to it because I enjoyed the movie, man. I wanted to, in any way possible, if even a 1 red cent goes towards Kumail Nanjiani and his wife Emily Gordon. Nanjiani, sorry, and his wife Emily. Like, great. Like, because this is one of the best romantic comedies I've seen in decades, man. And there have been good ones, but this is incredible, just incredible script writing. You immediately attach these characters. They don't take the shortcuts. They don't cop out, do cliche stuff. They really explore the depths of what can happen. You want, as a viewer, to believe the unbelievable ending that she would wake up and they'd get back together. But no, he has to pay time for what he did.
Yes, because as far as she's concerned, that all the time you just put in doesn't exist.
Right.
It never happened. As much as her family is like, oh, he's a good guy. But they don't stand up for her either because they're not against it, but at the same time, just like, this is her decision.
Yeah, they're not going to force her.
Yeah, we can't tell you all the times he showed up, but when he's like, stop, he's like, you can't move her. She could die.
Yeah,
man. Oh, my God.
What a great moment.
It just you feel for every character within that little triumvirate of people.
Yeah, because they're all on their own separate journeys about the situation, and
nobody knows what to do.
Yeah, and that's believable too, Matt. That's so not what you would see in a typical romantic comedy. They actually have these moments where the stakes are so high that we're afraid this could fuck the whole thing up. And that's something you don't really see a lot in romantic comedies. And I really appreciate that the script took those kinds of guts.
Do you think in real life her dad cheated on her mom and they brought that element of reality? Because then that also, you understand the rift between the parents and how this draws them back together and makes them understand why they fell in love with each other. And we don't have to go down that route.
Nope.
That's the best part of, you just assume by the natural progression of the film.
Yeah.
We don't need everything spelled out for us.
Well, and I think that's why you cast actors like Holly Hunter and Ray Romano. And really, Ray, I mean, seriously, Matt.
He's gotten so good.
I know, right? Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Because you can go back and enjoy Everybody Loves Raymond. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
very funny
for
show.
a meat and potatoes sitcom, it's one of the best 3 cameras that come out in the past 20 years.
Absolutely.
It still hits on, like, if you watch it now, the jokes still work because they're not based in pop culture references and stuff, so they're timeless on some level. Just about the interactions of a family.
And there are no bad seasons. There may be some uneven seasons, but there are no bad seasons.
When you're making 20-something episodes a year, you're going to have, X number good, X number bad, and then whatever else.
Right. And to see his interactions with Holly, there's so much internal life going on between them, and they almost find him to be the conduit for their own relationship. Like, he connects, like Ray connects with Kumail. Is it Kumail? Kumail. Ray connects with Kumail so powerfully, and then Holly Hunter does eventually. When she wanted to resist him and get rid of him and push him out, eventually his persistence wears her down, and they start to have these moments, their own kind of private moments. She's looking at the pictures, all that kind of stuff. So he finds a way back to Zoe Kazan's character through them, and then has to earn it back himself by not forcing himself on her. He gives her space. He lets her have her time. He goes off and keeps trying to go on with his life.
But this also forced him to be honest with his family.
Yes.
And those parts, like when he was doing the cue cards.
Oh, man.
And I love that nobody's supposed to talk to him when he takes a shot at his brother. And his brother's just like, don't be cute.
It is great.
I think some of the comedy club stuff fails, but that's just for me.
Well, okay.
But at the same time, it's like, it's such a small part of the overall movie.
Right.
That I don't even remotely care.
Yeah. Just great stuff all around, man.
It is. It's an excellent, like, just emotional punch, but you walk out going, wow.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, I love my wife, but to have, like, to go through that type of thing just has to, Jesus, bond 2 people like nobody's business, especially him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you have no idea the amount of time and emotional toil that I put myself through that you slept through.
Yeah.
Just like, wow. It's so impressive. Anyway, what you got in 4?
My number 4 is Get Out.
That's my number 3.
Okay. Oof.
Great movie.
Talk about going from one comedy romantic comedy to something darker and crazier, man. Get Out. It's
simple premise.
It's just a horror movie. And then it's so much more than that, man.
Yeah. Through the guise of something that's easily digestible
Mm-hmm.
when you see it, but then you start thinking of what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Just the idea of racism within the country, but then loss of identity, cultural appropriation, a sense of oneself and uniqueness, and Jesus, all within the guise of like a body snatchers.
Yeah. Yeah. This is in essence a Twilight Zone show turned into an entire movie.
Yeah.
But a statement on race relations, not only in the country, in the history of the country. This whole idea.
I think it's any race.
Sure.
On some level, especially within the context of this country, just white people
Coveting.
Yeah. It's just like we have been the bulk of this society for so long.
Yeah.
As other minorities come in and assimilate,
Yeah.
what do they lose of their own identity to become like us? And what are we taking from them?
But no, for lack of a better term, no minority has upset the white man or more than the black
no, it's not
minority.
even close. It's not even close.
Because they're threatened by them. They are jealous of them at the same time. They are insulted by them, and by the same time at the same time they revere them, because you can look at any spectrum of entertainment, whether it be sports or media or even the presidency. You can make arguments that black people have come and become the best. Tiger Woods at one time was the best golfer. Michael Jordan was the best basketball player. Best football players? Most of are the receivers. These incredible receivers.
Well, you could say Jim Brown. You could say Walter Payton.
Right.
You could
exactly.
say
Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, all these kinds of basketball players. Absolutely all over the spectrum with basketball and what have you. So there's so much involved here. And the one thing I do want to say, Matt, is the thing I said about it in Collider is when on the video for my top 5 of the end, I said I never thought I'd see a film about race relations where the whispered truths about racism were put front and center in a mainstream film. I was super surprised about that, man.
Well, I think it only became a mainstream film because of its success.
Yes, fair.
Because when you put it out as a horror film, just like people's expectations are so lowered of what it could accomplish, and then to confront such big ideas and big problems and stuff like that, and not even like, yes, there is judgment casted, but it's more so just a discussion of here's what this means to me, as from I'm assuming from Jordan Peele's side of as a black man in this country. It's like there's one thing that's always stuck with me is a Chappelle bit where he's talking about like he's back in D.C. and he goes and talking to schools and whatnot, and he's like, listen, if you want to get out of these ghettos and these terrible situations, you need to get to entertaining these white people or dunk a basketball or do something. Like the way he sets it up and then the pivot, and you start thinking about it, and the most successful black people in this country are, on some level, just to entertain white people.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus, I had never thought about that. And I had, but not so simplistically.
Yeah.
Just present it to you, and you're like, yeah, if you really think about it, at that time when he was doing the joke, for the most part, the average black individual that you would idolize or look up to was an entertainer, an athlete, some sort of celebrity on some kind, as opposed to a businessman, a mogul, a philanthropist, whatever the case is.
Right. That's only been in recent times, like Puff Daddy or even to a lesser extent Master P. This idea that you could have a mogul in charge of certain
Jay-Z.
things. Right? Jay-Z, yes, absolutely. Kanye to a degree as well. So it's only just recently that you've seen that start. And Beyonce as well. You could say Beyonce as well, like starting to put this kind of idea that there's more than just being an entertainer. There's revenue streams, moguls, the kind of things. It's really.
But beyond that, I mean, with Obama now, you have something beyond that. Like there's became president. You can aspire to that. This country will actually not be so racist to allow that.
Yeah.
On some level.
But the direction of this film is incredible. The really unsettling moments with the black people that have already been subjected to be in the upside down, their moments with with Daniel Kaluuya's character as he walks into this white community led by Allison Williams. And there's so much clever subversiveness here, like near the end where Kaluuya is about to get being put into Stephen Root's body. You pan up and she's in her room. The white milk is in a separate, and she's not integrating the cereal. She is not integrating the colored Fruit Loops with the white milk.
I didn't even think about it.
That's what I'm. It's those little things you catch that are brilliant about the movie, and to showcase. And they subconsciously they hit you, but not consciously. And I think this was brilliant about the film. Throughout the film, Jordan has these little moments that are incredibly brilliant, and you only catch them on the second or third time you're watching. You go, motherfucker! And you never thought you'd be filled with terror watching a young white woman look at these black men who are athletes, because you know what she's going to do to them, and it scares the living shit out of you, man.
Yeah, well, it's not the societal version of, it's a black guy in a hoodie, that's who you should be afraid of.
Right.
It's this, harmless looking little white woman over here on the side.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean. The whispered truths about racism put right up front and have it be such a success is incredible, So I just...
And you could even just tune out what it's asking of you.
Absolutely.
And just enjoy the movie for a horror movie if you really wanted to.
Yep. If you don't even want to deal with any of the racism stuff and don't want to look for it, don't. Just watch the movie, and the movie still works as an incredible horror film.
There's somebody out there that saw it and then heard afterwards that's what it was about and went, I just enjoyed that movie. And be like, there you go. It succeeds.
Yeah, that's right.
And its simplicity.
You could almost argue it's 2 movies in 4-1. All right, what's your number 3?
That was my 3.
That was so my 3 is Punt, I guess, from Early Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Man, I love this movie. Top to bottom, Matt. Top to bottom. I've seen it 2 times now, and there's just a beauty to this film that I thoroughly enjoy. Both the cinematography, the look, the colors, the music by Alexander Desplat, the direction obviously by Guillermo, who I've become a massive fan of now, and the acting by Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Stuhlbarg, and of course Michael Shannon. Just great stuff going through. And they bring you, it's a time period piece that doesn't make a big deal about being a time period piece.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredibly effective. Amelie kind of did this with way back in the early 2000s. They did the French film Amelie kind of did a version of this. Not that there was any kind of like alien creature, but this idea of the mousy girl who doesn't talk that much, but has a whole inner life going on, inner world going on. And you see this whole thing with the scratches on her neck. Was she a sea creature already that had come on land and has been on land the whole time, which is why she doesn't talk, because she is actually a creature like this, like the Doug Jones amphibian man, which is why she grows gills?
I thought it was just like she identifies with that character. That was something that just kind of further bonded her. I didn't read into it like that.
Well, I think because she's had those scratches on her.
It's from some sort of accident that cut her.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know. We don't know. And so when they grows gills out of those, I'm just like, wow.
That's the magic of whatever the creature's name is.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, it gave what's his name hair.
Yeah, true. That's right.
Like
Richard Jenkins.
Yeah,
and he's great too.
Bioluminescence, and would start sparking blue colors, and then when he tears that cat up, and then they have to teach him a lesson.
How incredible is that?
I know.
So the design of it, all the creatures is phenomenal too, man. I mean, like there's a creature of the Black Lagoon type possibility comparison you could make, but it's on a whole nother level.
Gabe, who was on the show before, my nephew, was like, hey, I heard that it was an origin story of Abe Sapien from Hellboy, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like I could see they do look very similar, but no, it is not.
Yeah.
At least if it is, then Abe eventually learns to talk, and like a few other character choices, like he grows a little bit differently and stuff. But it's kind of the same character on some level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really captivating and fun, and they go into like the dance number out of nowhere. But the overall charm of the movie is what carries you into those.
Yeah.
And the relationship that she has with her neighbor.
Yes.
It's like a believable friendship between the two of them. And I love the sign language. And then when she's pissed at him, I want you to say back to me what I just signed to you. So you further, it's when you say repeat back to me so I know you have it kind of thing. And just like, no, I know you know what I'm specifically saying, even though I know you know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it's just like it just seemed like two friends, two people that had lived together for a long time.
Yeah.
It's a really fun, movie.
Yeah, and it's worth, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you've seen it already only once, it's worth a rewatch, worth a couple of rewatches, because there's so much that happened. And Michael Shannon, once again,
Shannon's great.
What's his what's his person like with the stuff with his family? Like, what's driving him?
Why is the no talking so appealing?
Yeah, what is it about it? And then his overt sexual attempt to assault Sally Hawkins' character. Like, what's driving that? Like, what is the inner life of this guy that is so hard and mean and horrific? And there is no real explanation given. Like, it was, I was beaten as a child, or like I was attacked by a sea creature when I was 10 years old. There's all this other stuff that he's just bringing to the table because he's such a good actor. He's living that life. You don't need to see the reasons why.
No, he is because he is.
And then you have a Russian subplot, spy shit going on. He's like, where's all this coming from? But it totally works seamlessly in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's really incredible what he was able to do. I was very, very surprised because sometimes Guillermo, in some of his movies, will like veer off, and you're just like, okay, you're asking too much.
Yeah,
of me,
the
blah, blah,
fantastical will overtake the overall artistic vision sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could easily, I guess, done it on this one, but
it didn't.
It was good.
It was incredible. Yeah. So that was my number 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Phantom Thread.
Whoa.
Not on your list?
Holy shit!
Loved it.
Really?
Loved it. I just saw
Mad
it.
Nost.
I just saw it.
It is on my side list, but I didn't make my top 10 because I think I still need to see this thing 2 or 3 more times.
That's the thing. I can't wait to see it a second time.
Interesting, yeah.
Because I just saw it a week ago, and upon ending the movie, I was like, I enjoyed that. And then an hour later, I just kept kind of chewing over scenes, and I'm like, well, I really like that scene and that scene. And now I want to go back and like connect smaller things here and there and whatnot. And it just, I don't know. It's you already had me from the jump once it's Paul Thomas Anderson with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
Just like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
2 of my absolute favorites. It's not even a question.
Right.
And this is one of those, like, this is a movie my wife walked out of and was like, what was the point? I was like, well, you're just kind of telling, like, I love the eccentricity of, like, to me, this is how, on some level, a guy like this would have existed, because how do you lead a fashion house in 1950s, post-World War II? Like, it would take an eccentric individual that did kind of believe in this was their entire world, and it was, like, very precise and specific, and he's constantly working, and just everything is a system on some level. Mm-hmm. And when he opens up there and just like, I'm a confirmed bachelor, before any of that really gets in, and she's like, you can already see the spark of, I think I could change that, just like I'm sure a lot of women have given that spark, and he's rebuffed all of them. But the horror on his face when his spinster sister comes walking in and just sizes her up like a piece of meat, and the uncomfortableness in that, but eventually the protagonist, her finding her place within it. And I want to understand the overall arc of their dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, I want to investigate that more fully and watch that and rewatch that and rewatch. And that's where it got me. It's just like, I know I'm going to watch this a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. There is this connection between them because she breaks through in a way that none of the other women have broken through for him. His mommy issues and his need to be taken care of, but dominated and controlled.
Every once and again.
Right. And because no one has ever been able to do that to him other than his sister. And he can't have this kind of a romantic relationship, obviously, with his sister.
Yeah.
So she fills in the holes that his sister can't fill, and then the extra level stuff that maybe he didn't even know he wanted.
Yeah, or needed.
Yeah. Right? And when the twist happens, you're like, holy shit.
That's what, like, it's just like, okay.
Holy shit.
Did I miss subtle little underpinnings that, like, would have forecasted this?
Oh, sure. Probably, Matt.
Yeah.
But, like, you got to be some incredibly analytical person to catch them all
on the first time.
Try. Yeah. I think, people get mad at me when I said this on Movie Talk a week or so ago, Matt. I said, some films you have to go see multiple times to get, because people were, like, bitching about Last Jedi. I shouldn't have to go see it a second time. Motherfucker, all the great films are great because when you rewatch them, you get something different out of it. You catch different things. You catch more amazing things. That's why they're great films. Yeah. And that's the whole logical reason. You don't see a great film once and just go, that's a great film, and then you're done. No. You go back and rewatch it multiple times because you want to savor it, enjoy it, catch stuff you didn't get. Because the great filmmakers put little things in there that they know is a lot for your brain to process and get on the first time. And so I think there's absolutely little things that you can see as their relationship is progressing, because at so many points, it could stop. It could end. he does things to push her
Or-
away in so many ways,
Exactly.
and she could absolutely leave him too.
You
because
think it's going to
she's
go
young.
one way? Like when he shows up at New Year's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could go schmaltzy.
Right?
It could go super schmaltz there, and it doesn't.
Nope.
And you're like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like you start trying to guess where it's going to go, and it takes you a different place. And sometimes, like in Coco, I wanted my vision on some level to
Yeah.
be like, oh, I was guessing it was going to go here, and it went there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like that, confirmed in a
Yeah.
movie. And other times I'm like, keep me guessing. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And just within this, I just know it's. If I'm being honest with myself, I love this director so much.
Yeah, Paul Thomas. Yeah.
That like I just rewatched The Master a week and a half ago.
Oh man.
And I think that's like the 5th time I've watched that now.
Oh really?
I love that movie.
Yeah, man.
Other people are just like, it's boring and pointless. Like, yeah, but you're, I think, missing
Yeah, the whole
entire point.
Yep.
And this is one of those movies to that effect for me. It's just like, yeah, you're just getting dropped into his world, and you're trying to understand the illogical nature of human beings.
I think absolutely this film will move into my top 10 the more I see it. Because I wanted to hate it, Matt. Halfway through, I wanted to hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was secure.
I was enjoying the incredible acting and the cinematography.
The music
and,
is gorgeous.
Yeah, the music's amazing, and the dresses are incredible. I'm no costumer. I have no concept of being how to be a costumer or create a dress or design a dress or even make a dress. But it was the pace of their interaction, and then everything started to sink in, because I was like, I don't want another movie where a young woman just idolizes this old guy, and it's like in 2018.
He's
or
a
2017,
fantasy.
Yeah,
She's got
done
daddy
with this,
issues.
right? We're done with this kind of trope, and then it just starts throwing you twists. And a friend of mine walked out of the film 45 minutes in and was bitching about it. Says the worst thing he's ever seen. I said, if you didn't stay for the twist, you don't get the fucking movie.
Plus, yeah, and her sitting there saying, I'll find him. We'll find each other in every lifetime. And the conviction in her eyes as she's saying that, you're like, because you needed the entire film to build to her saying that and going, she believes that.
Yep.
She may believe that more than I've believed anything I've ever said other than one day I will die.
Yeah, right.
Because the conviction is palpable. It's incredible to behold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Agreed.
just, after seeing it, I was like, all right, I think that's my second favorite movie there.
That's a great point, brother. It's a great choice. That was your number 2?
That was my 2.
So then my number 2 is Blade Runner 2049.
Okay.
Which is a punt, from earlier?
My 5.
Your 5? Man. This one,
I think it's better than the original.
you can certainly make a case, my friend. You can certainly make a case.
Yeah.
It's incredible how it takes the original, the vibe, the feeling, the atmosphere, the music of the original world, and fleshes it out even more, giving it multiple dimensions, a lot more levels, emotional layers happening throughout the movie. The Ryan Gosling stuff with that, with the AI that he has this relationship with, the sexual, the when they make love to each other using Mackenzie Davis, a human surrogate, Mackenzie Davis as the human surrogate when they're having sex. It's incredible. And then this replicant that is so hardcore, Sylvia Hoeks, the actress, like coming after him the whole time, and Jared Leto. I even like, some people bitch about Jared Leto. I loved Jared Leto in the movie. He is so unsettling, man.
Exactly, and that character's motivation is pure.
Yeah.
Even if that pure, the purity of it to you is devilish.
Yeah.
It's still pure. He never deviates. He has a specific goal in mind. You understand what it is, and you understand the means by which he is willing to execute to get to, or execute his vision.
He's a shameless Tyrell. I don't mean shameless in a way that's overt. I mean that, like with Tyrell in the first movie, he was kind of sneaky dirty, right?
Yeah.
Jared Leto knows exactly what he is. He has said what he's going to do. He pushes
Stated his intentions.
He states his intentions right off the bat, and he has saved the world. So in essence, he is almost a god complex.
He is a messianic kind of, I am here to save all of you. I have the vision to do that.
Follow me.
Exactly.
Yes,
he
exactly.
is, he's the robber barons from a couple hundred years ago. These guys that just grew to outlandish proportions and had a disproportionate amount of influence and power and money and everything else. It's just like, yeah, you could. And I saw some people haranguing it for the movie as a whole, for like the way they cast women with the in that they're like, even if they're fictionalized, they're objects of desire and whatnot. And I think that's more so a discussion of people are living such solitary lives, and especially from Gosling's perspective, he is ostracized from society as a whole. So he has no one else. So that's why he draws this emotional attachment to something that isn't real.
Well, even the twist of the movie that he is not what he thinks he is, and what he thinks he's been led to believe from the beginning, and then halfway through what he thinks he actually thinks he might be, and then you realize he isn't that either. So there's so much about his journey that is a constant mindfuck that he is trying to unravel himself as another Blade Runner, in essence, as an investigator, that kind of thing. Then the stuff with Harrison Ford is really well done. That's honestly, since he came back into these properties and franchises of his, this is the best he's ever done in any of those, in any of the Star Wars movies, in the Indiana Jones recent ones. This is his best act. Like when and I don't want to spoil too much about it if people haven't seen it, because a lot of people haven't seen the movie. When a certain somebody comes back, and he, like Jared Leto, brings her back to life for him. Yeah. Fuck, man. That scene destroyed me. I almost walked out of the theater because it was too much emotion. Because I love the first one. Love the relationship between Rachel and Deckard. And to see that come in the way he did it, fuck, man, it almost destroyed me, man. And so there's so much power throughout this movie that I really enjoy. And I would push back against the woman thing, because the replicant is a woman, and she is going after what she's going after to get him, to destroy him, and she's a powerful force. Robin Wright, too. There's no object of affection. Robin Wright is in charge of things. She controls Gosling's character, Kay. She controls him and
tries
tells
to show him compassion, even though no one else in their world wants to. They just want to treat him like a skin job.
Yeah, exactly.
Just it's a cyborg, and it's unsettling too. It's like what is it, Baseline or whatever? Yeah. When they have the breakdowns, and then just has to keep repeating the phrases, and they can calibrate how he's doing his internal CPU. Yeah. Like it's just unsettling. I don't even know what you guys are doing, and then it gets to the end, and just over and over and over again. Plus the color palette, the cinematography, the choices of at certain points, the staging with the setting and the backdrops and the landscapes and whatnot. Yeah. It just really, I didn't think that they would be able to do something new with that property. I thought it was just going to be extension of the original. It's actually, it's a different story with some of the same players. Yeah. Like it's some of the same story, but not really. It's telling something different. And it's still asking of you what Rutger Hauer asks at the end. Like what has a soul? What is alive? What is innately? Right. It's still asking those underlying questions ultimately. But they don't even get to a bunch of that.
And finally, Deckard gets a happy ending, possibly. And that...
But you don't know.
And that's the greatest gift. That's just the greatest gift, dude. It comes out, I think, in a few days, finally. I'm going to snap that thing up. Dude, I almost considered getting a 4K television over Christmas so I could really savor this movie.
It's going to look really good on that.
I have to legitimize it in some way, so I may not do that, but I will probably buy the 4K version in anticipation. If they sell the 4K version with the regular version as well, then I will do that, because I have a feeling that I will eventually break down and get one, and because I have to enjoy cinema the way it's meant to be enjoyed, and that is one film that I have to see.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
All right, that was my number 2. So what's your number 1?
My number 1 is a punt from you earlier.
Oh shit!
3 Billboards, my friend.
God, wow. So that means my number 1 is not on your list at all.
Really?
Incredible.
Okay.
Incredible.
3 Billboards. That was my favorite movie-going experience of the year.
Yeah, talk to me with your doppelganger Sam Rockwell in there.
Doppelganger. I was amazing in that film.
What a film, dude.
Just couldn't believe it. Yeah. It's like halfway through, I was like, okay, I think this is where they're going to land this plane. Yeah. And then they get to where I would assume that landing would be and be like, nope. And then it keeps going. Yeah. And they manage to dance around this really terrible story. Not saying the execution of it. I'm saying the actual facts of what's going on and what's motivating these characters is so god awful. And they eventually, like, you find out all of it. You read all the billboards and you hear that there's a police report. Yeah, man. And the son is like, I didn't want to read that. Yeah. And to find out, I didn't know until I saw that fucking billboard. Yeah. And then they still found humor. Like, I laughed my ass off when they're in the kitchen and they're all sitting around. There's a threesome, and he's like, "Oh, I guess what does that mean? You're going to move out or whatever the case is?" And the look on his face was perfect because I'll do that. I'll make an inappropriate joke and I'll be like, "Oh, nobody's coming with me. Nobody." And you start like bargaining with the room. And my wife and I just died, but tears, just because it was so beautifully executed. And then, but the ramifications of that scene, ultimately, it takes you right back into the moment and just, it dances that line. And the Woody Harrelson, like, okay, his wife is the only failing in that movie.
I agree with you.
I don't understand the choice.
Abby Cornish has no business being in that movie. Not Abby Cornish is a good actress, but she is like 20. She looks like his daughter.
And she's not from this country.
Yeah, why does she have an Australian accent?
Yeah.
Like, she is an Australian actress, obviously, but why do they let it go and have her? They never explain why that she's from Australia.
She dresses and acts like she was born and raised in the area.
Yeah.
But she speaks, well, that doesn't fully act, but like her clothes and mannerisms, the way she carries herself, seems like she's lived in this town and she's comfortable.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, the way she speaks and whatnot, and other times it's just like it's disjointed. I was like, but her part is so small. And everyone else in it.
But still poignant, still pivotal when she has to go in and deliver that letter to Francis later on in the movie. Yeah, still.
Yeah, and Harrelson, I didn't see that coming.
Whoa, no one saw that coming. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And the Dinklage stuff.
Oh, yeah, Dinklage stuff was great.
When he turns it on her. Yeah. It's just like, everybody looks at me like I am the cancer.
That's the thing, Matt. The thing about the movie that's a gift is no one's fucking clean.
No.
No one's fucking clean.
Everybody's at fault in this.
Everybody's got a little piece of fault or a little piece of like something about their personality. You can't 100% call them good, 100% call them the protagonist.
The son might be the only person that is probably you could hold up on some level as good.
I suppose, but even the son has those moments when he's bitching his sister out or has those kinds of things. So, and which happens in all families. Like, let's be honest, it happens in all families. So that you can forgive that a little bit, but he also gets upset that he doesn't 100% always support his mom and has that situation like he wanted to move go be with like his dad. So there's a lot of stuff that happens throughout the movie that you can play around with. But the son, you're probably right, is the closest to
but once again,
pure.
not at all.
Right, but Peter Dinklage has his stuff. He's trying to be what he's doing, but he's taking advantage of a situation to go out with her. But then she turns on him.
Yeah, but he lied to get that.
Right, exactly.
And helped cover up something that hurt someone really badly. Now, you may not like who that individual is.
Right.
And up until that point, that person had no redeemable quality.
Yes.
It was just a shitheel.
Right.
And
it's amazing how Mark McDonagh, the director of the film, the writer of the film, makes you
like somebody you shouldn't.
Look at yourself and be like, how much forgiveness can I give this person? And that's really incredible for a film to do that because you want to dismiss this guy as a one-dimensional idiot. You really do.
He is an idiot. And that's what's ultimately his redeeming quality.
Right.
You can't fault him for his stupidity. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's not a bright man, but, Harrelson can see the good in him.
Yeah.
He does have good.
Right.
And you identify and recognize that.
Yeah.
And just over and over and over again, the fact that the billboard is paid for. And then when you find out why, just a beautiful for a reason for it.
Yeah.
And it humanizes both characters that are in that.
Yeah.
Because that's something I would do.
Right.
Just like, well, now you got to defend it for the next month. And you're like, touche.
Yeah.
Touche. And you can't tell anybody.
Yeah.
This is now your cross to bear for the next month.
And Frances McDormand, fucking powerhouse, man.
Just amazing in it.
She's probably going to win the Oscar.
In my opinion, she should. I literally have seen damn near everything.
Yeah.
And I can't think of another performance that outweighs hers for me.
For me, the only one that comes close is Margot Robbie and Tonya, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say Sally Hawkins, but for me, it's more Margot Robbie. There's such a fierceness to her performance and a believability in situations we've probably never seen in a movie quite that way. So I think she's the only one that comes close. But Frances is a force of goddamn nature throughout the whole movie, man.
She is. And she looks like somebody you would know.
Yes.
Yeah, you interact with her. She's a real person. Like Hawkins is technically a real person in a fantasy story, you can identify a little bit with, but there are no real flaws to her.
Yeah.
Whereas Frances McDormand has flaws.
Yes.
She's a person. She is imperfect, and sometimes her motivation and drive for what she wants unfortunately has negative outcomes, just like life.
Well, I think we're starting to see this more and more, Matt, this idea. I mean, we've seen it in numerous different decades in movies where they show human beings are more complicated than you actually want to believe in film. Like we can fall into cliches. We're like black and white, good and evil, that kind of stuff. But more and more, we're starting to see, as we've moved past this idea of having complex characters, we're starting to see real and complex characters, real and complex, in that here's Frances McDormand, who can be a real asshole to a bunch of people, but here she is having these breakdowns when she thinks she sees her daughter in a deer, when she thinks she has this. So she has these real human, vulnerable moments, and you understand what's driving the anger, what's driving the pain. When John Hawkes, her ex-husband, comes in, puts her against a wall, homie has to come around with a knife to threaten him. Yeah, the son, like that kind. And then she goes and has these like moments of defiance in the restaurant with him and that 19-year-old girl he's dating. So she has so much going on in her life, just like Margot Robbie and Tonya. There's so much around her that motivates why she does what she does, and it's so real and connectable and understandable. And you're just like, man, this is an incredibly awesome character that does not drag you to make her like you. You got to make the effort. You got to make the. And I love.
She's
that.
Uncompromising.
Yes, and I love that about her, man.
Yeah, it's just over and over and over again when Harrelson shows up at her house and it's like, you don't think I want to find?
Yeah.
And it's at that point she's beyond like, I don't care how you feel about the situation. You've given me nothing.
Yeah.
That I have zero results, and now you've stopped looking, and you think the payoff for that comes, and it doesn't, and you're like, this movie just keeps you guessing. And the story, I love that the story doesn't end.
Yeah.
It just kind of leaves it up in the air. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the way it needs to end. If there was finality to this, it wouldn't be as satisfying for me.
I agree with you. It wouldn't be as real.
Yeah.
Which is what is the drive of this movie.
Exactly. That wouldn't be like real life. Real life doesn't have finality or conclusion more often than not. It's just kind of an open-ended, And
that's what people complained about the movie, is it presented storylines that didn't give fruition. Welcome to real life.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay to have a movie like that, because it sticks to the tenets that it lays out, and it does not deviate to cop out for an ending that you want to see. This is the world we presented. This is the way we consistently presented it. Why do you think we do anything different at the end?
Yeah. What in your life?
Yeah.
Has every question is answered.
Yeah. You're right.
Like everything is tied up in a nice little bow. It doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Certain things in this do. The bow, you may not like how it's tied up.
Right. Exactly.
But once again, that's life.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then my number one is Logan.
I figured it was coming.
Yeah, dude. It's my favorite film of the year. And it's one I've watched maybe 10 times already. It's a film that just speaks to me on so many levels. It's a film that I've been waiting for my whole life. And that's the way that I can present it to you, man. And when I watch it, I see myself in him. And I see a lot of myself now as I get older, as things start to break down. I see a lot of myself in Hugh Jackman, in his character, in Logan. Not that I was some kind of hero, but I know what it's like to have the power and the strength and the youth to be able to do these things and then see it falling away, and then also not wanting to at times step forward and protect or be dragged into because of the pain that can come from that if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to work out. You know, the effort you're going to make, because with the emotional and physical cost that it's going to take out of you, and
sure,
you see that through the whole film. And I think his connection, obviously, with Professor X, his reluctance to be a hero, plus it had all the tenets of a Western, and it was overt about it when you see the shots of Shane, when they're watching Shane on television. So all of that is there. Plus, the Daphne Keane is incredible as X-23, and their relationship, their father-daughter relationship. Obviously, I don't have a father-daughter relationship, but as I've gotten older and I've become acquainted with my friends' kids and my sister's kids, there's a connection to them, and I understand this. Like I start to understand this more and more. And what's great about the film is he is trying to leave a legacy of a different type of hero, right? He says at the end, don't let them tell you what you can be. You decide. Don't make the mistakes I did. And that's what every father wants to pass on to their child. Don't make the mistakes I did. Be better than I was. You have all the tools, all the abilities, and she literally does have all the tools, like physically as well as he did, to be better than him. And so there's so much about the film that I just absolutely love. And, I break down every time when I watch it, like 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 places. And the relationship is what really, the relationship with her and Daphne Keane is him and Daphne Keane is the one that carries me through the whole movie, and his journey, his like from the beginning, he's still that vicious guy. He doesn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, he's done.
He's driving a fucking limo. He does not want to have anything to do with being a hero anymore. It's been 25 years since there's been a mutant birth. All his friends are dead. All the X-Men are dead, and it's just him and Professor X. And Professor X has his power that used to be the symbol of goodness and right and helping people in the world. He can't control it anymore when he has his spells.
His mind is going.
Exactly.
Ergo, his power is going.
Exactly. So we had this period where everything was great and he was a hero and he was fighting all these incredible villains, all this kind of stuff, and now it's all gone.
Yeah.
What do you do? And I think that's what's so
you can't
great
live
about the
or
film.
eat off the glory of your youth.
Yeah. Eventually you have to accept the fact that those days go away like they do for everybody else that came before you. Yeah.
I wish they had done something, not specifically like this, but something this good with Wolverine before.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
That's
Just
fair.
like, look, I'll come out for every Wolverine, everything. I've seen them all in the theater. If you came out with one next year with Hugh Jackman, I will go see it.
That's right.
Because I love Wolverine, the character. It's just like, I don't know, where was this? Like, I still try and talk myself into that Wolverine that came out just, 4 years ago?
Yeah, the first half of that movie is actually really good.
It's got some amazing, like, when they're on the train.
Yeah.
Like, on the top and all the fighting and stuff, and it just gets to the end, and the end is like, what the fuck? And
The
this
whole
villain,
Silver Samurai shit is bullshit.
yeah, and
again,
the villain, the venomous,
Yeah.
whatever, she was terrible.
She's a horrible actress, yeah.
And the whole setup for it is just like, damn it. But I've still gone back and rewatched it because I want...
Yeah.
Like, it starts with the hunters,
Yeah.
and he's fucking with those guys because they took out a bear, and they're using poison arrows, and he's just like, he stabs the dude through the hand. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the same arrow tip, and the guy's freaking out because he knows it's poison. It's just like, yes, this is Wolverine.
Yes.
And they do that within this movie. It's just like, fuck, man, I wanted this. Like, I'm happy to have it now, but I'm also lamenting the fact that I've had to sit through hours of you guys misusing this character over and over and over again.
Well, and I think that's a great point, Matt, because like Mangold directed that one as well. He directed this one, and he directed Logan, or he directed Logan and he directed that one, and I think he copped out at the end of that Wolverine, maybe to the studio notes, maybe against his own desires. And I think this time when he came back, he said, I want to do it my way. No more cop-outs. Deadpool is an R-rated film. It made money. I can make money with an R-rated Wolverine film. Hugh Jackman probably was 1,000% on board to finally play the Wolverine the way he knows him, the way we've seen him in the comics, and in the better comics of Wolverine, that kind of harshness to him and cutthroat, no holds barred type guy when he finally gets into battle. So all of that was there, but I hear you. Like, I wish this had been an incredible trilogy of Logan like this.
The singular best moment until this movie of Wolverine was in First Class when they go and try and recruit him, and he just goes, fuck off, and they walk right out, and you're like, that's Wolverine, guys. That's Wolverine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got it in one scene. Now make a movie with that.
Yeah.
And then they still failed, using him to the degree that he can be used. They're out with Days of Future Past, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then, it's just like, and then the next Wolverine 2 in that interim between.
But I think it matters that they also call him Logan, man. It's not Wolverine, it's Logan.
Yeah.
This is about the man.
Yeah.
And that's what's really powerful to
And
me.
dealing with his own mortality and stuff like that.
Yeah, so really effective for me. All right, look, you've got the pen, so I'll happily bang again. I don't have a problem with that. So let's break this down.
Well, we both have 3 billboards.
Yes, we do.
We both do not have Logan.
No, but I have Blade Runner 2049 at 2. Where do you have it at?
5.
Yeah. I have 3 billboards at 7.
I
Tell me what the logic is on that.
don't know, because you can make a case in my head for either way. Like, I understand entirely what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it. Because then that means that's bumping Logan to 3 at the earliest.
Yeah.
And because after that, we should probably have a discussion about Get Out at 3 more than likely, because I have that at 3 and you have that at 4.
Okay, if I can acquiesce and put 3 billboards at 1, if we put Logan at 2 and Blade Runner 2049 at 3. That way I'm giving you the top spot, but I could take 2 and 3.
All right, give me Phantom Thread then at 4,
Yeah,
and we'll go
sure.
Get Out 5.
Okay, Shape of Water is not...
Well, I have Get Out 3. You have it 4.
Okay,
correct?
that's fair. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Let me
works.
start writing all this down.
I would have fought harder for Logan if you had it on your list, but because you don't, that we have to follow the rules of the show.
So you want
3 Billboards, Logan,
correct?
Blade Runner 2049. Then you said Get Out.
Well, no. Then I said
Phantom Thread.
Phantom
Thread at 4. Then Get Out at 5. Now, we have Shape of Water in common.
I have that at 6. Where do you have it?
3.
And then, okay, The Shape of Water. It is.
So what number is that?
That is 6.
Okay.
Now I have.
What do you have next?
The Big Sick is my number 4.
Okay, that's my number 8. So that seems to make sense. Now, I have Coco next, but that's not on your list.
Correct.
But I have I, Tonya.
Okay.
So we
Tonya
put
goes there.
How many spots we got left?
2.
Okay. I'd really like to put Coco on there.
And I'd like to get It on there.
Okay. Can we do that 9, 10? Coco 9, 10, It? What number is It for you? Coco's 5 for me.
Okay. That's fine. Coco can go next then, because I have It lower.
Boom. All right.
That was easy.
Yeah.
This is a hard list, though.
So many good movies this year, brother.
I know.
Can we extend that out so I don't...
Yeah. Let
make
me
any progress?
just get this. We can probably go.
Okay, there we go.
You still got. Yeah, there you go.
That's perfect. Are you ready?
Yeah, do it.
The top 10 movies of 2017, yeah. That takes a lot out of me when I'm not.
Not 100%.
At number 10.
It.
At number 9.
Coco.
At number 8.
I, Tonya.
At number 7.
The Big Sick.
At number 6.
The Shape of Water.
At number 5.
Get Out.
At number 4.
Phantom Thread.
At number 3.
Blade Runner 2049.
At number 2.
Logan.
And the number 1 movie of 2017 is...
3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Hell, Missouri, the show me state. How about that?
You got any honorables?
Sure. Wind River.
Yeah, I got that on the side.
Wind River was incredible. What else? What do you have?
That we have not talked about.
Yes.
I wrote down Disaster Artist, but I don't think it ever had a real shot of making my list.
I agree, but Disaster Artist was incredible.
And then Thor Ragnarok.
I would not fault that.
That could be my favorite superhero movie of the year.
Wow.
Could be.
I put Wonder Woman. I think you have to talk. I think you have to mention
Okay.
Wonder Woman. I think absolutely. What else would? Oh, Baby Driver. I thought Baby Driver was certainly in contention for me. The Post was in contention for me.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I would say War for the Planet of the Apes was in contention for me. I know you weren't the biggest fan of it. Molly's Game was really fucking good.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
Isn't that about poker or something?
Yeah, dude, you'll love it. She's
Okay.
great in it, and I think, and I had Darkest Hour on the side as well.
Yeah, I've got Darkest Hour over there, but I mean, it's solely for his performance.
Oh yeah. And one film that no one talks about, but I thought was really surprising and how much I enjoyed it was Hostels. That new Western that's coming out with Christian Bale. I got an early screening of it from Harloff, and I watched it here in the office. God damn, dude. That film is dark as fuck. There's not one moment of levity, and it's a 2-hour and 15-minute Western. And it's Bale's begrudging journey to forgiveness. It's insane, dude. From the first 5 minutes of the film, it's super dark and never lets the foot off the pedal. So not a lot of people are talking about it, but it's an incredible film from Scott Cooper. So
Nice.
yeah, those are my honorable mentions. All right. Well, that's our top 10 films of 2017.
There it is.
Thanks to everybody who listened and downloaded the show. Thanks to everybody who's been supporting us on Patreon and been talking about the show on your social media. Keep tweeting about the show. Keep sharing it, doing everything you can.
Thank you. Leon McIntosh always immediately posts it in Schmoville. Thank you for that. Or a gentleman by the name of James Finneran. I get tagged in any kind of social media, something that I'm involved in. Eventually I get tagged by him on that about our show. It's like, wow, it's a hell of a fan that you're posting that on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and wherever else you can think of. Like, wow. And to, Chris Alexakos for helping us with the Facebook page, along with Kristen Smith. Thank you so much. To all of our Patreons and those individuals. You just heard your first Thunderdome. The next one's coming up.
Yeah.
And the polling will be out in like a weekish or something like that.
Okay. Try to do better by me.
So let's see. It comes down to who's deciding what, and if Kristen gets in there or somebody else that may be in these back channel collusions that you brought up in the show the other day.
The conspiracies, it's ridiculous.
Perhaps. Look, if you keep complaining about it, they might collude to fuck you over again.
That's fair.
So,
be my big mouth.
Be careful the wolf you're crying over. But thank you to everybody that continues to support us.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down the other day and we hashed out like the next few months of ideas, and we're already reaching out to guests and whatnot for those. So we already have some guests lined up, so we get some interesting shows. Some people some people you don't.
Yeah.
Hopefully introduce you guys to some friends of ours that, trust me, know just as much about movies as we do.
Yeah.
And you just don't know. They just exist in a different periphery. But just like expand the top 10. Please keep telling, if you know somebody that likes movies and they like to listen to two assholes talk, ask them to, hey, check out this show. Cherry pick your favorite topic or something you think they would like. Send them a link.
Yeah.
And
take a night, get high with your friends who love film, put us on, listen to us talk about film.
Sure.
I guarantee you'll enjoy this show high or sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good show. It works either way.
And we got hopefully we get some ideas in the hopper. We got some things that we're working on that would help the show like improve and grow and expand. So hopefully in the next couple months we'll have some concrete stuff to show you guys there. But we are continuously working on this and trying to improve your experience, our experience, and just have fun.
Yeah, I thought there was something else we had to make him hip to, but I can't remember right now. I thought there was something else we were going to talk about or announce, but for the life of me, I can't remember it. So maybe we'll announce it on the next show. Let them know about it. But follow us on the Facebook group. Go join the Facebook group.
Yeah, facebook.com/groups/ the top 10 show with the number 10.
A lot of great back and forths going on in there.
Yeah, tons.
There's a big sci-fi one conversation thread that's happening, so go be a part of that. Thanks for all the support you've given Team Top 10 as we were about to walk into our number one contender match in a little bit here. Thank you for everybody who's been talking about that. And also the Patreon. If you want to donate to the Patreon, please. It's incredible how it's growing. Be a part of it. Go to www.patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10, and you'll see all the multiple tiers we have there. And if you can't contribute, that's okay as well. We're just putting this out there for people who want to contribute, who want to help out and alleviate some of the costs of the show. It's great. And if you can't contribute right now, but you tell us, I'm going to do everything I can to contribute at some point, great. If you're just promoting the show and putting it on social media, that's great as well. So, any support you can give us, we are massive fans of.
The individuals that tweet us and be like, I wish I could. You know what? The fact that you listen is the bare minimum of what we could ask for as a show.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you do that and you still find us on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever the case is, at Matt Nost, at The Roca Says.
Yes.
And let us know on there. That's awesome. Because then you're at the very least help spreading the word. And that's great in and of itself. This thing's grown to the degree in the past 3 months. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. And if we can kind of continue this trajectory, we will literally own the world. I don't know. I mean, we're expanding at a rate that is basically like a viral, like Spanish flu type of infection, and we're going to take out minimum 10% in the next year.
Well, I'd like it to be a positive spread. I'd like it to be a positive thing, not a negative thing.
Yeah, well, it's like people that drink our Kool-Aid get it.
They get it.
Everybody else can fuck off.
Whoa, there it is. There it is, until they convert.
Exactly.
That's right.
And guess what? The people that I just told to fuck off never heard that because they haven't heard the show.
That's true. That's a good point.
So those of you listening, walking right now, you can literally judge any person you see and be like, as to whether or not they're listening to the show. And if they're not, then judge accordingly.
Yes.
That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, that's a good
That person
point.
looks
Good
like
point.
they should be enjoying the Top 10 show.
Good point. Oh, and those of you who are Boss Hog supporters, if you're listening to this, I'm sending out an email.
You've already, yeah, you
I
said,
probably
you already
just
sent it out.
sent out an email. We want to get new topics. Those of you who have not had a topic done yet, please respond back to that email. Let me know what topics, because Matt and I are looking to fill some slots coming up over the next few months, and we want to definitely hit those Patreon
That pertains
ones.
to the people that have actually already paid.
Yes.
Those of you that have pledged for next month, we will ask you once you've actually paid the money.
Exactly.
It's nothing against you. It's just these people have actually, spent the coin.
Exactly.
So we honor that first. That's just you could take your $50 donation away,
Right.
if we gave you the topic early. Not saying you would, but it's hypothetically possible,
Right.
And we don't want anybody to game the system.
And we've those of you who've already sent your topics in, we've got them logged in, and we've already assigned a weekend for them.
Yeah.
So we will be doing.
And we'll
your
let you know.
topics.
And
we will
also,
let
if you haven't sent in your list for that week,
yeah.
send it in, because we want to compare and contrast to ours and make you a part of the show, because you've been kind enough to support us at the highest amount you possibly could.
Yeah.
So we want to say thank you in every which way we possibly can.
Yeah, till we get that $1,000 tier, and then we fly in and hang out with you for an hour and do a show, 2 hours.
Oh, we have to fly into them? I figure for 1,000 they'd come to us.
Okay, for 1,000 you can come to us.
For 10 grand, I'll come to you.
10. Oh,
Let's make our time worth something.
that makes sense.
Because what if we have,
Pay for the
what
hotel room.
if somebody in Ghana was like, look, I got the coin,
Yeah.
I'm willing to spend it, and now we got to get on a plane and fly for how long do you think that flight is? 14 hours, 16 hours from here?
I can't go to Ghana, man. That's a hell of a flight.
Somebody drops 10 grand for you to come in for the weekend?
All right, I'll do it.
You know what I mean?
I'll do it.
I'm not asking somebody to do it. I'm just saying, what's your minimum on that?
Right, I just think 10 grand works. I like 10
Sure.
grand.
Sure.
But I want the money in my account before I fly.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I don't want any kind of.
This
I'll
isn't
pay
a
on the back
handshake
end.
deal.
Yeah,
I want the money in my hand before I go anywhere. I don't care if it's to San Diego.
yeah.
You can pay me first, and then I will be there.
That'd be something. If you want to set up a live top 10 show in your town, and you can sell out an auditorium and make it financially worth our time to come in, we'll do a live show. Absolutely, we'll do a live show, live topic that you pick, and we'll do the show. And you can come on and read your top 10 list by the end of the show, and we will absolutely have great interaction with the fans as well. So if you can sell out an auditorium,
I think if they set all that up, they get to do the show with us.
all right, that's fine.
Oh, I love it. They sold out an auditorium for us, and you're begrudging them sitting in on this hypothetical
They're getting
reality.
half the proceeds.
I didn't know that was the cut.
Of course.
All right, whatever.
Or don't you? Or do you want to give them less?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. This is your idea.
How about
You
that?
tell me.
We'll give them 20% of the proceeds, and they get to do the show. That's fair.
20% of I love that you cut out 30%.
Well,
just right off. That's a
because
hell of a
doing the
haircut.
show is a lot. Doing the show is a lot.
They got us because as part of that is you have to fly us in and put us up.
That's fair. Yeah, and not no
That
Motel
comes
6
with-
either. Not no damn Motel 6.
Any gig on the road you take, all right, well, are travel expenses and hotels covered.
Yeah, it's true. That's
and
right.
potentially a per diem.
A residence inn is nice.
We could go by SAG contract. It's got to be a first class ticket and 5-star hotel.
Yeah,
That seems extreme. This isn't $1 million production, but I'm saying we could go that route.
Yeah, that's right. And Matt and I need our separate rooms. Separate rooms,
Oh, yeah.
king size. That's it's just how it works.
Not having it.
Yeah. We can't be sharing a room.
I'm a grown man.
That's right. We're grown ass
I'm a
mans,
grown
dog.
man.
We grown ass mans.
We almost shared a hotel room once, and I was like, I'm not sharing a hotel room. It's nothing against you or anyone else.
You're right. I know. It's
I
the way
don't
you
share
are.
a hotel unless we're already friends, and
Right.
it's just like, yeah, you know
years and
what?
years,
We're-
yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, even that is like we should look into getting our own rooms, depending on what the cost is.
All right. On that note, there it is. Thanks everyone for listening to this.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
Top 10 show. Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't ruin too many movies for you.
Yeah.
Or if you've listened this long and we did, well, we warned you at the top.
Yeah, and maybe suggest some films that we didn't cover that you might want us to revisit or take a look at. That maybe we didn't see in 2017. That might be a bad idea either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
Okja.
Okja. Oh, I fucking hated Okja.
I didn't see it, but I had somebody who's like, oh, you should see that.
Ugh.
Because they heard I literally in the midst of watching a movie a night
Ugh.
for this, and they're like, oh, yeah, Okja, you should see that. Like, all right, I'll add it to the list of things I need to see, and I just didn't get to it.
I'll put that in the Goonies box. Annoying as hell.
So it's a fun, inventive movie that
Sure.
So long as I have a spark of a soul, I will be giddily enjoying myself. Well, I might have to watch Okja.
It's amazing. Every word you just said in that sentence is wrong. It's incredible.
Or it's so right, it's painful.
Oh, yeah?
The truth is so blindingly real that it pierces deep.
Yeah, I'll go do a truffle shuffle now. All right, well, thanks everybody for listening to the Top 10 Show. We will talk to you all next week.